So you want to get into content creation. Maybe you've started to garden recently. I know I'm gonna try that this summer, and you wanna post some videos about it, show what you're planting, join some communities and see what other people are up to. Maybe you've been reading, maybe you just read lots of books and you want to finally make that YouTube channel about the books you read and create a little community around that. Or maybe you have a family member or partner that's a comedian and you want to help cut up some of their shows and post it online to YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, any of those platforms. Well, outside of gear, there's one thing you're gonna need to do that, and that is your editing software. And I've been working in Davinci Resolve for the past 4 years, and it is the #1 editing software I recommend for anyone starting content creation. Why? Because it's free. That's why. There is a paid version, we can talk about that later, but the free version is spectacular and it does everything you can need it to do. So in this video, for you, for me, I'm gonna walk you through going from 0, first opening Davinci Resolve for the first time, to 100, getting your video published, exported, rendered, and sent out to all these platforms you wanna do. We're gonna do that through talking through 6 different sections of Davinci Resolve. #1, we're gonna talk through the project library, how to make your first project file. And I know for me, when I first started in Davinci Resolve, this actually was a bit of a pain point for me. So I'm gonna show you how to do all that. Second, we're gonna talk through the footage, how to import it, how to start to work with it, some of the specifics there. Third, we're gonna talk about the tabs. Now there are seven tabs in Davinci Resolve, and thankfully you only need to know 3, maybe 2 of them to start to work through the basics. Fourth, we're gonna talk through the timeline, how to get your footage on there, how to talk through how to start to cut up your footage, some of the basic hotkeys, how to make it either vertical or landscape for the different platforms you want to post it to, which is vitally important in today's demographic of online. Fifth, we're going to talk through the subtitles. This is where Davinci Resolve might slip a little, especially in the free version, but I'm going to show you the basics of that anyways. And lastly, number 6 is the rendering of how to get your video with the best settings possible to send it off to your platform and get it out there to the world. So follow along with me. We're gonna talk through those 6 different sections. Let's hop into Davinci Resolve and get you making content right away. Okay, so you've downloaded the free version of Davinci Resolve, not the studio version. You would have had to have paid for that. And we're ready to start editing our very first video. Very exciting. Okay, so I have made a little video on my phone, just using my iPhone, and I have airdropped it to my Mac Studio. So whatever way you need to get your video from your phone or camera, whatever, to your computer, do so. I trust that you can figure that out because it's not too bad. If you have questions, please comment down below. And then we're gonna make something really important before we even get into Davinci Resolve, and that is our file structure. Because as video editors, as people who wanna do content creation, we need to be organized. It makes a big difference when you wanna look back for other videos. So I would say, let's get organized. So steal this file structure. We're gonna do a new folder. I'm putting this on my desktop. I recommend that you have a folder for all of your content. I have some drives, but for today, we're gonna put it on here. I am going to rename this to Davinci, I can't spell today, Resolve Basics. Great, okay, we're gonna open up this folder. Here is my file structure, please steal it. We're gonna do audio. We're going to do footage. We're gonna do graphics. We're gonna do music if you have any. Now on this, I'm not gonna do any music. There's a video I posted last week, would recommend on how to balance music and your voice, which is important for creation, but not for today. We're gonna put in render. And then especially for all the social media stuff, we're gonna put in thumbnails because those are really, really important. So you might be wondering what goes in these folders. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna take my video and I'm gonna drop that into footage. Now, you might be going, why is there audio and music and footage? I have an external recorder that gives me only audio files, so that's why there's that folder. You could ditch that one if you need to, but I would stick to the structure roughly that I had built that matches your system. Great, so we have all the things in the file structure. That's great. Now we're ready to open Davinci Resolve for the first time. So let's give it a click and let that open. Here is what we call the project library. Essentially how the project file works is you create a local or a database. I've named mine primary. It saves somewhere on your computer. You can simply add a project library, name it, and put it somewhere on your computer. And I trust you to do that. Again, save it somewhere where you know it's going to be. So if any of this goes wrong, you can go find your project file and get it back. Does that make sense? Awesome. So here is the layout of what your database will be. Now, I've obviously made a lot of videos. There's lots of folders in here. We're going to jump into YouTube 2026. Just simply double click. And here's all my YouTube videos I've made for the year, which is, I mean, cool. We've made this many. Now, if you want to make a new folder, it's simple. Right click, new folder. Let's call this Davinci Resolve Basics again, because I don't want to come up with another name. Great. You can just double click. You can make a new project in here. You can also hit new project down here. Either way, you want to make a new project. Now, I don't want to make this within a folder, but you might be asking, Josh, how do we get back to where we were? Funnily enough, this is one of the biggest things that I struggled with when I was working at Davinci Resolve the first time. I would literally close the program and reopen it to get myself back to where I started. You don't need to do that. I'm going to save you the hassle. If you just click where you were up in your little, kind of tab area, it'll take you back to where you wanted to be. Simple and easy. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out to begin with. I don't really need this folder, so if you hit the delete key on your keyboard, you can hit delete. You can do that for any of them. I'm not going to delete that, so just hit cancel, but it's pretty simple. Now, we want to make our very first project in our project database. We hit new project. You might be wondering, Josh, what are you going to label this? Davinci Resolve Basics. Wonderful. You can choose the location of where it's going to be. I'm going to let Resolve make that decision. It's going to put it where I set my database at. We're going to hit create. Boom. Okay, we're in here. This is Davinci Resolve. There's a lot of buttons, a lot of things. Let's take a deep breath. And let's jump into the footage and how we're going to import it. So when you first open Resolve, it's going to put you on a couple of different tabs possibly. We'll talk about the tabs here in a second. We want to get our footage in here first. So we're going to jump to the media tab, which is the very first one. Now, this is how we're going to input our footage into Davinci Resolve. There are a few ways to do that. One, there's a file structure here. So you could look through users, me, I know it's on my desktop, Davinci Resolve Basics. You can click and drag everything to bring that in here. Don't worry about the frame rate change. This window may or may not pop up for you. I've set my frame rate at 23.976 within my settings, and I don't think I shot that on my phone. So it's going to ask me to change. It may not. Just hit don't change for now. All of those things can be changed when we're actually working the edit, so don't stress. We're going to hit nope. It's going to think for a second. And look at that. The file structure that we made is now in Davinci Resolve, which again keeps things clean and easy. Another great way, another easy way to import our footage, I'm going to hit Command Z to undo that, is if we simply grab our window, which has all of our footage in here, right? We were working on this. We can just highlight everything, right? And drag that into master, hit don't change, and look at that. The exact same thing. The footage has been imported into Davinci Resolve. Awesome. Now, whether it's MOV or MP4 or whatever it's going to be, input it in here for now, and we'll chat through if you need to make changes. If some issue arises with your footage, comment down below. I'll try to help you troubleshoot it. But especially if you're shooting on your phone or a basic camera, this should be really, really simple in terms of getting it in there. Fair enough? That's footage import. That's how we've organized our footage. We keep our bins. It's simple, it's easy, great. Let's talk about the tabs. Now we have 7 different tabs here. So the media tab is obviously very important as we need to input our stuff. The next is what we call a cut page. For now, I would say don't worry about the cut page. It really isn't that relevant for what you're probably editing. We bring ourselves to the edit page. Now this page matters the most. This is probably the one we're going to spend the most amount of time in today about how it all works and what it all does. So I'd recommend spending some time in here. The next is Fusion page. This is for animations and motion graphics. Don't touch this page. There's no need to. It's confusing even for me, especially for people starting. Don't worry about this. Next one is our color page. I recommend when you have time to play around in here, but if you're coming from the iPhone, it'll probably be fine and you'll probably be good for what you need to do. This is the Fairlight page. This is where you edit your audio. I have a couple videos on this page. I'd recommend watching them. But again, for today, we're not going to worry about this. I want you to go from 0 to 100 as soon as possible so you don't have to stress too much. Lastly is our render page. This page is obviously very critical for getting your video rendered and input and sent out to the world. And usually when I open this for the first time in my program, Davinci Resolve takes a quick second. You see the little rainbow icon. There we go. We're back. So the 3 pages we care about: media, edit, render. Pretty simple, right? Not too bad. Okay, so from there, from those tabs, we're going to jump into the timeline. There's a few different ways to get your footage on your timeline. One, we could right click, create new timeline using selected clips. We call this DR basics because I don't want to type it every time. We could use project settings. We're going to leave all that basic for now. We're going to hit create. Boom. We have our footage on our timeline. I don't know why iPhones make 5,000 different audio layers, but that's probably helpful for what we're trying to learn and do today. If you want to hit undo, Command Z on that, you could also click and drag this onto your timeline. You can, drag and select and move. You'll notice that these audio layers are moving with it. That's what we call they are linked. That's actually really important for you to know, is that when you input footage, especially from an iPhone and stuff, these will be linked. So you can move them around. You can just click one and you'll be able to move everything. Linked is really important. Now let's say you import a couple of things, you sync some stuff up, which might be a little bit much for now. Essentially, all you have to do is if you hit Command, or what it would be, Control, Shift. I don't know what it would be for, I'll put it on the screen what it is for PC users, but Command L will then delink it, okay? So again, Command L, I want to select all the clips. Command L will link or delink, and that's really important when you're working with stuff. I'd recommend keeping your stuff linked, but in case something goes wrong, you've hit too many buttons, Command L or whatever the PC version is will get it linked. So we have this on our timeline. Awesome. If you hit Option or Alt on your keyboard, you can select just one of the clips within a linked clip structure. And for me, I just want one of these audio files going. So I'm going to hit Alt or Option and click and drag till I have all but one. And I'm going to hit D on my keyboard, and that will turn off effectively that layer, right? So we can see we have 1 through 5 different audio layers. If you alt click the video, you can make more video layers. You can make however many video layers you want. So that's pretty great, pretty easy there. We'll drag that back down. I'm just clicking and dragging the clips. You can see if it's linked and you move it off, it'll tell you by how much it's moved off. So I would, frankly, for new video editors, just get used to clicking and dragging your footage and moving it around and seeing how it feels. But for now, I want to turn off those layers by Alt or Option clicking, highlighting them, pressing D to turn them on or off. Okay? I know there's a lot. You probably have to watch this a few times, but these are just simple things that are helpful for you to know. So now if we scroll over, I should say, we can now see that audio 5. That's our footage. That's our footage. That's our audio levels going up and down. So you can turn this up and down for whatever you need to make. So that really simple audio editing, just the mixer up and down volume. And if that's not there, it's up here. So you can click mixer to open it. Okay. Another big thing is effects. This is where you can add different things. You can look through transitions and all this other stuff. Take your time, work through those effects if you want to. I typically don't have them open that often. We can work through index, doesn't really matter. This is your inspector. This is where you can, zoom in and out. You could change the position of it. You can change the rotation of it. Let's just undo all that. So this inspector tab is really important in terms of working on your footage. If it's not there, again, it's just a click away to be able to do that. Now, the first question I'm probably going to get as we're looking at this is, Josh, this is vertical footage, but it's on a horizontal timeline. Yes, it is. And that is super, super easy to change. So wherever you have made your timeline, look for it. Mine's in footage right now. I'm going to call this primary timeline. I like labeling all my timelines. If you right click this, timelines, timeline settings, it's going to open up this window. We're going to unclick project settings and we're going to enable use vertical resolution, hit OK. Boom. Now Davinci Resolve kind of shoves it over because it's obviously smaller now, but now we have vertical content. I'm going to show you that one more time because I know there's a lot of things happening. I'm going to right click, timeline settings. We're going to uncheck use project settings. We're going to enable use vertical resolution. Sometimes Resolve recognizes it, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why, but that's there. So we now have our vertical timeline, vertical footage on a vertical timeline. We're ready to make some cuts. This is where things get fun. So if we watch my footage back a little bit here, we're going to see that
we need to talk through,
kind of flubbing here a little bit. I don't really like what I'm saying. I'm clicking and dragging my red timeline playhead.
Today we're going to talk about
and I'm pressing spacebar to play. You can hit up here.
Content creators.
I'd recommend getting used to hitting spacebar. And I'm just dragging, clicking and dragging this across my timeline for now, if that makes sense. Okay, pretty easy.
There's a lot of stuff we need to talk through, but it's all going to be simple
a little bit.
And basic. Nope. Okay. Hey, welcome to this video.
Okay, so I can see that I flubbed here a little bit. These are what we call waveforms. This can see my audio levels as I'm going. And so plus and minus on your keyboard will zoom in on your timeline. So that's another set of hotkeys just to get used to remember. Frankly, when I was first learning, I had a sticky note or like a notebook with all my hotkeys I was learning. So we're going to click and drag, hit spacebar to play.
Welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about Davinci Resolve.
And I know this is where I want to make my first cut. Now, there's a lot of ways we can do that. We could hit the blade tool and we could click where our playhead is, and that will make a cut. And then I could click my mouse button again so I don't accidentally make another cut. And now we could select this, delete it, and now we just have
welcome to this video.
Our video.
Today we're going to talk about.
So there's that option. 2, I have mine as S on my keyboard. S will just splice or cut wherever my playhead is.
Welcome to this video.
So that's pretty useful. If you want to know how to access your keyboard shortcuts, hit Davinci Resolve, hit keyboard customization. They have this great window that pops up and explains everything you need to know. And you can, like, you know, for me, S does it. If I click S, it'll tell me what the application is and what it works. Spend some time in there if you really want to. But for now, don't worry. You can just click our buttons. You can click and drag.
Hey, welcome to this.
And we're just going to cut here. You can even not have it there. We're just going to cut right there. We're going to click our mouse button. And if you select this and hit the delete key and hit the minus, it's gone. And then I like to click and drag this to the start. And then if we just move if you click anywhere in here, it'll follow your mouse. Going to plus a little bit here.
Hey, welcome to this video.
So our video
we're going to talk about Davinci Resolve for new content.
So our video is now playing. That's awesome.
To publishing your
This is talking about, you know, publishing our first videos on Davinci. Sarge gets a little cameo.
He's asleep, but I'm excited, so let's get to the video.
Great. I want to cut this last piece off as well. I'm going to hit the cut tool, cut where my playhead is, click the mouse button, hit select all. I'm just clicking and dragging and hitting delete. Yeah, that's essentially the basics of getting your footage on the timeline, cutting it up and getting it ready. You're playing with these 2 tools for the most part. Now, there's a lot of other tools. We can talk about them in future videos, but these are the ones that matter for now. The only other one that I'd actually would recommend is this little magnet here. This magnet essentially lets your playhead snap to certain points of your footage, like the end and the beginning. So if it's off and I'm clicking and dragging, you see how it doesn't like snap? If I turn it on, you see how it eventually snaps to the playhead. That's a pretty useful one as too. So your cursor, your blade tool, and your magnet are the main ones we're going to worry about for now. That, I think, pretty much covers how I would put a video on the timeline, cut it up in the basics of fundamental ways, and get ready to post. Is that going to make sense? Okay. So now we're going to talk about subtitles. There is an easy way to do this, and there's a hard way to do this. And unfortunately, on the free version, it's the hard way. So if we go to effects and we go to, you can search up, I'm going to search up text. There's text plus and basic text. I'm just going to click and drag text onto my timeline. So it's made another layer for it, which is great. I'm going to click and drag this over to here. And unfortunately, in the free version of DaVinci Resolve, you are going to have to do this by hand, which is not ideal. Which you pretty much come in here, you would type, hey, welcome to my video, something like that. You can shrink the size of the text. You can change where it's positioned via our inspector settings. And again, if that isn't there, click inspector and reopen it for you. We can go back to here. We can add a little drop shadow. We can make it easier to see. You could change the font. I don't know. Let's do Poppins probably. So this would be the only way to do it in the free version. In the paid version, you can do AI tools and hit audio or create subtitles from audio. Unfortunately, in the free version, you can't. So what I would recommend for you, if you don't want to do this by hand, because it is a pain in the butt, there are lots of other software online that can do this. I'd recommend looking some of those up, rendering the video from DaVinci Resolve, uploading it to those, and working in those for the subtitling. Because subtitling AI, all the AI tools cost money on any program. So regardless, you may have to spend money somewhere, but maybe it's cheap on another app. So unfortunately for subtitles, this is where things get a little hairy for DaVinci Resolve on the free version. I'm sorry. I'm letting you know now, but the program's legitimately free. So if you want to do subtitles on your own, I would recommend doing that. Okay? It's where we're at. All right? Okay. I'm going to delete that for now. Click and drag. If you're wondering how I'm getting up and down, it's a lot of the scroll wheel. You can use this to move up and down as well. I would just spend some time in the timeline in the edit page and getting used to that. But anyways, already talked about that enough. That's subtitles in the free version. You're going to go to your effects. You're going to search up text. You're going to click and drag it on your timeline. You have to do it by hand. I'm sorry, I don't have a better way. That's it. So lastly, we're going to talk about our render settings, which is really exciting and really fun. Okay. So we're going to go to our render page. One of the main things I want you to look at first is when it says render and it says your in and out range. You can set that to your entire timeline or your in and out range. And you might be wondering, Josh, what's your in and out range? Well, if we jump back to our edit page, we can tell DaVinci Resolve what our in and out points are. So on your keyboard, if you press I for in, this bar will pop up. And if you scroll to the end of it and you press O for out, that'll set your in and out points. So I could have more footage down this timeline, but I'm going to tell DaVinci Resolve to only render what's in my in and out points. We're going to go to our deliver page and we're going to say, yes, use our in and out range. Now, there's nothing else in the timeline. You could use entire timeline, but that's going to be it. So the settings we want to set for our custom export. First off, we want to name this DaVinci Resolve Basics 2026. Great. Format, I prefer MP4. Codec, H.264. For now, don't worry about all these other options. I would just select MP4 and H.264 and let it do its thing. Now, let's say, for example, I forgot to change my timeline to a vertical resolution. You could change it in here, but it is correct. It is where we want it to be, so we're going to leave that. You could hit custom. You could change your vertical resolution to work that way. Or in here, you could set things to 4K and whatever. We're going to let Resolve make most of the decisions, especially when we're starting. That's really what matters. Now, for quality, we're going to restrict this to 40,000 kilobytes per second. Why? Watch this in so many other videos. It's like roughly double what your frame rate is. And if my frame rate's 23, 40,000 kilobytes per second seems to give you good footage with a decent file size. We're going to leave it at that. Now, if you get the studio version, subtitle settings are in here, and you have to make sure you hit burn into video. Otherwise, they won't do that. I don't have any of that in here, so I'm going to not worry about exporting subtitles. We're going to hit browse for location. I'm just going to send this to my desktop because that's where everything goes when I first render things out. We have our naming, where it's going. We want to render out as a single clip, not individual. Format MP4 H.264. I would say just copy and paste these settings for now. Don't worry about them too much, especially when you're first starting out. Just get your video out there. Don't sit in the weeds too much. We're going to hit add to render queue. It's going to pop up in here, job number 1, your first one ever to post, or first one ever to render from DaVinci Resolve. That's super exciting. We're going to hit render all. It's going to think. It's going to go. It's gonna take less than 2 seconds. Boom, it's rendered out there and it's all done. And so if we close this, we will have Davinci Resolve Basics 2026. The video is ready to go and get posted somewhere else. So you've done it. You've worked through those 6 different sections. I'd probably recommend watching this video a few times, especially for some of the more nuanced ones, like on the timeline and how to work through all those settings and different hotkeys and such. And at this point, I would just recommend experimenting. Don't be afraid to make some footage, throw it in the timeline and start to see how it works and how it cuts. If you have any other questions that you find as you are working through these 6 different sections, please comment them down below. I'd be happy to make more content about Davinci Resolve and helping you learn how to make your content, how to post the stuff that you want to show off to the world. I say Godspeed, good luck out there. Tag me in the stuff that you're working on. Would love to see it. And as always, hope you have a wonderful week. Today's secret word is Artemis, because I'm obsessed with space, and maybe we'll make something on that down the road. Artemis is the secret word of this week's video. Hope you all have a great week. Have fun creating out there, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.